Welcome to the Live to 110 podcast. I'm your host, Wendy Myers, and you can find me on liveto110.com. Today, I'm really excited to be interviewing Leigh Lowery of GeneralLeigh.com. That's spelled Leigh. Leigh is the new Live to 110 podcast co-host. So I finally found someone after Kate. It took a little while, but I think Leigh is going to be a really good fit for the show because she is a personal trainer and a fitness competitor. So she's going to be kicking your butts into shape today.
That's right.
But actually, I wanted to thoroughly introduce you guys to our new co-host and do a full show with her because she has a lot of valuable information to share with you about fitness and how she stays in shape. But first, I have to do a little disclaimer. Please keep in mind that this program is not intended to diagnose or treat any disease or health condition and is not a substitute for professional medical advice. The Live to 110 podcast is solely informational in nature. Please consult your healthcare practitioner before engaging in any treatment or fitness regime we suggest on this show. If you're interested in shedding a few of those holiday pounds, I just put a new and improved version of my Live to 110 by Weighing Less e-guide on the site. So if you want to learn more about the latest science on weight loss or the modern paleo diet, which is my version of paleo, go to liveto110.com and sign up for my free 35-page Live to 110 by Weighing Less e-guide. I'm also really excited to announce that I'm finally done with the rough draft of my first book, The Modern Paleo Survival Guide. I wanted to write this book to show everyone how to take paleo to the next level. This book, it's all about surviving in our modern world because it's not enough to simply eat a paleo diet to be healthy. We need to take it to the next level. We need to be eating the most nutrient-dense foods allowed on a paleo diet. So this book has millions of tips on how to choose and cook the most nutrient-dense foods for maximum nutrition. Yet sadly, many foods that were very healthy in paleo times are not healthy today due to toxins and contamination in our modern food supply. So I let you know how to navigate these toxic foods, and more importantly, the book is about how you can eat the healthiest paleo diet in the world, but you won't live a long disease-free life unless you detox from heavy metals and industrial chemicals that plague our modern environment. No one is an exception to the rule. So I have a chapter called Detoxify or Die in the book. A little dramatic, but it goes into exactly how and why you need to detox. So that's the book in a nutshell, and you can look for that for sale on Live to 110, hopefully in March 2014, if I play my cards right. Things always take a lot longer than you think, but the goal is in March 2014. So today I'm thrilled to introduce the new podcast co-host, Leigh Lowery, aka General Leigh, on the show. She had a former life as a CBS television advertising executive, but she cast aside her career to follow her true passion, fitness. She's now an NASM certified personal trainer. She's also ventured into the world of fitness competitions, and so far she's won 3 fitness competitions and counting. And you can find her on her site, General Leigh, Leigh.com, and on Facebook at My Fit Foods.
Yeah, follow My Fit Food. That's right.
Follow My Fit Foods. That's it. So Leigh, how are you?
I'm awesome. I'm really excited to be here today with you and on the podcast.
Well, I'm really happy that we were introduced by our mutual friend, my gyrotonics instructor, Danielle Littman, and she's really awesome. How do you know her?
Danielle, I call her Dani, we met in college. It's so funny. The way that we met was we both had a love for hip hop. So, at that time, way back in the day, no one knew of who Outkast was. And so I remember I was walking by this dorm room and I heard "Ain't No Thing But a Chicken Wing," and I went, oh, I need to know who that is. And I walked in and there's this really beautiful girl who talked like a dude, and I thought, this is a cool chick. So we made friends, and we found out both of us danced growing up, and we would go downstairs in the basement the dorm that we lived in, and we'd make up dance routines and take them out to the clubs. So we were we thought we were hot, but what I see now is we're a little bit dorky. We're a little bit dorky.
I love that. That's actually always been one of my dreams, is to do a little ditty on the dance floor with a friend.
Oh yeah, it's like Night at the Roxbury.
Dancing and sing. And no, I really want to get her on the show to talk about gyrotonics, because I know most people don't have any idea what that is.
No.
It's a fitness routine that you can do. It's kind of like Pilates, but with a different machine. But we'll get into that on that show.
With a little rehabilitation to it. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Well, why don't you tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and what drew you to fitness?
Well, just a little bit about myself. I'm a Houstonian originally.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
And so we had that in common. I thought that was really interesting. I always am drawn to Texans, and so and now my family lives in Dallas. But I grew up in high school. I was a soccer player and a dancer, and I absolutely loved sports. And I ate whatever I wanted. I literally lived on carbohydrates, and I weighed a great amount. I looked fabulous, and I didn't realize it took what it took when it came to sports to keep my body the way it was, eating what I was eating.
Yeah.
So as I went on to college, I went to University of Arizona, where I met, as we talked about, your gyro teacher, Danny. And I really stopped doing anything. And I kept my body in shape for about a year, but after that, I really started to lose my shape. And I think I told you a little bit, and I'll get into this later in the podcast, but I needed to find a quick fix to get skinny, and I didn't know how to do so. And I was introduced to some things like Ritalin and Adderall, and so I was going the wrong way about it for many years of my life.
Yeah, there's many people cheating their way.
And it's just like anything that you do that's instant gratification. It has non-lasting results, and it typically has a lot of negative effects as well. And I spent many years of my life kind of living that way. And what drew me back to fitness after a long career in advertising was the passion that lived inside me, to really feel the way I felt when I was in high school, to get that body back that I always wanted. But really, it was about health and well-being, and watching those around me really not be able to keep it together and have long-term healthy lifestyles. I wanted that so bad, and I was willing to really do whatever it took to find out how to do so.
Yeah, so where did you get the nickname General Leigh? 'Cause I love that, because whenever I've sought out a personal trainer, I've always wanted someone that has a kind of a general feel, like they're a drill
sergeant mentality.
Like, get my fat ass into shape.
Yeah.
Whip me shamelessly how I deserve.
Well, I
love that nickname.
It is totally, it's perfect. It's very fitting. My sister is about 10 years younger than me, and she named me General Leigh because I was bossy, and I like to tell people what to do. And so I think for years I was just telling people what to do with no aim or direction. It was just what I wanted them to do. And now, luckily, like you said, people find it to be appealing because they know that I'm going to whoop their butts into shape, and that they can follow my direction, and that obviously I had the guts to kind of put that name on myself and use it, so I better stand behind it, and I do.
So tell us a little bit about your history. Like, you worked at CBS.
I did. I was a dance teacher in Miami when I left college in 1999. I moved to Miami, and I became a dance teacher at Arthur Murray Dance Studio, teaching salsa, rumba, merengue, swing, and I wasn't that good at it, but I was still teaching it to people. And I remember I was scraping quarters out of my car trying to just get to the job. Wasn't making a lot of money. It was pre-Dancing with the Stars, so it wasn't really that popular. It was kind of like old folks only. And my mom said, you're either gonna have to come home because I'm not going to wire you any more money, or you're going to stay there and you're going to figure it out on your own. Yeah. And I needed to use my communications degree. And so what I did was I actually had a friend, and they had worked at CBS, and said, you should come over here, and they're hiring a bunch of kids in advertising, really young, right out of college, and see if you can make it, cut your teeth. And I did, and I ended up having a 14-year career with the same company, by way of Dallas, and then Miami, and then Los Angeles.
Wow.
And it was wonderful. I was in management, I was in advertising sales, and I was also in production. So I'm pretty well versed, across the board. And I loved it for many things.
So what propelled you into fitness? At what point did you say, I'm ready to do a complete career change, and why?
I think I spoke to you a little bit earlier, pre-podcast, about one of the reasons that I got into fitness was through sobriety. In 2007, I decided that I needed to stop doing and living the way that I was living. I really was trying to get that quick fix of being skinny and whatnot. And I had a lot of negative consequences due to drinking and honestly drugs as well. And even though I had a great job, I could maintain the appearance, but really inside my home, I was dying inside. And, something inside me through sobriety came about, and that was a recognition that that little piece in me from my high school soccer career where I found success wanted to come back out. And so I think I used running and just going back to the gym like once a week as part of that healthy regimen along with my sobriety. And then it grew from there. I saw that it gave me self-esteem. I saw that I was achieving things truly that had long-term great effects on my life. And so really that's how my beginning of fitness, re-entering my life, started to expand. And now it's 2013 and it's certainly expanded quickly. I was at my job at CBS for most of this. And so not until May of last year did I actually fully leave the job. Not saying I have this huge stability underneath me, but I have always, if I take the risk and I jump, knowing what I want, the net always appears.
Yeah.
And that's really been the case. I mean, you came into my life pretty quickly, and it's so interesting. And winning these competitions that we talked about, we'll talk about it in a second.
Yeah, I've thought about that too, that you had, I guess, made a decision that you wanted to go into fitness, and I was talking to Danny about how I needed a new podcast co-host, but I don't know anyone that has their own website and that's doing, that's really passionate about sending their message out into the world about how to be healthy. And she's like, I know someone, she's staying at my house. I'm like, perfect, I want to meet her. And it really, I think, is a really good fit. I think I can tell you're very, very passionate about fitness. Yeah. And you really want to help people and get that message to them. That this, if you want to get healthy, this is how you do it. Let me show you how.
That's right. And I think the other part is, if you have something in your heart, follow your passion, follow your dream. I think that people so much stifle themselves with ideas of, social norms, or, even if it's things from your past, what you think your mom wants for your life. And I did that. And it wasn't her fault. It was mine. I was the victim to my own choices. And now I feel so freed up because I'm really, truly following the path.
Yeah.
So it's awesome. It's really awesome.
So at what point did you got sober and then you decided, okay, I'm going to start working out? Like what led you back to the gym for that first time?
Oh my gosh. I was so intimidated by the gym the first time I went back. The first time, I think it was a boy. Typically, if you look at any path in my life, there is a boy attached to why I started doing what I was doing.
Yeah, every time I've gotten in shape, it was because of a boy.
Yeah. Like, oh, you work out? Do you work out, Lee? Oh, yeah, totally. Take me to the gym, and I look at the machine like, I have no idea what to do on this thing. I think I can't even remember what I was telling somebody the other day. I think I was doing shrugs, which is an exercise for your traps, on a chest machine, doing it the wrong way. So I've made a fool of myself many times, but I did it with confidence. So, again, no one knew.
I made a fool of myself with my hot pink weightlifting gloves that I got at Urban Outfitters.
Oh, I think that's hot. I think that's great. But I remember, and I say this to anyone, I think that fear is the biggest factor in most people's lives when it comes to getting back into the gym. Especially as women, I mean, just personally, this woman was intimidated by the machines. I was intimidated by the whole weight rack where all of those big kind of meathead looking guys were. I didn't know, how was I going to insert self and do something right, and I was scared. But what I did was I went to bodybuilding.com and I started watching videos. I was like, all right, I'm going to watch a video of how somebody uses this machine, and I'm going to go do that tomorrow. So I just challenged myself one little thing at a time. I didn't try to take giant steps. I took baby steps forward.
So why weightlifting?
It started actually with cardio for me. But I did know, just based in my past, that if I was just doing endless amounts of cardio, I wasn't seeing the results that some of these women that actually had tone to their body. I was watching and observing what type of body I wanted. And I just saw that every woman that I wanted what they had typically was lifting some weight. So I just didn't ever think I could do it, and that's what I ended up doing. I said, okay, that's what I want, and I started looking for the people that I wanted what they had, and following what they were doing. Yeah. So that's why I went to weightlifting.
Yeah, I used to work out with a personal trainer for many, many years. I lifted weights like a few times a week, and I really love the results because you really have to push yourself to the max.
Yep.
And I love how Arnold Schwarzenegger puts it, because you feel like you're coming.
Yeah.
when you have to feel that muscle burn.
Yeah, the contraction.
And I'm not quite getting that with Pilates, or gyrotonics, and I know that I need to kind of get back to that.
Yeah.
That way, because I really do love weightlifting. I have a long history since I was 20 years old, even when I was 15. When I was 15, I started going to the gym and lifting weights.
Yep.
And then when I was 20, I got a personal trainer. I really had a personal trainer from 20 to 30.
Yep.
All different kinds, learning all different kinds of techniques and whatnot. And so I'm getting the feeling that I need to get back to it. And I think it'd be fun if we shot some videos.
I can't wait.
Of you kicking my flabby butt all over the gym.
Well, and I really do believe in all forms of training. So again, I love to weightlift because I love the actual results that I can see on my body. But I think it's very important to have cardiovascular health. I do body weight exercises. I do everything. I do cardio bar and Pilates myself. So I make sure and really keep it well rounded because I like the results of all of the different formats. Yeah. But weightlifting is my love. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's, I need to rediscover my past love.
Yeah. We'll do it together.
Because clearly I've stuffed my love into a box, and I've been doing a lot of writing, sitting around, and eating chocolate croissants and things like that. Okay, back to you. So what's the most common question you get from people, like clients and at the gym and things like that?
I get a couple questions. It's so funny. One of the questions I get is, how do I get your butt? Which I think is the funniest question. I've worked on my tush for a really long time. I'm going to tell you the truth. But I do. Women, we love those glutes. Everyone wants to have those really rounded, nice glutes. And I'm not saying I have the most amazing rounded glutes, but I have been working on them for a while. So that's the funniest question I get. It's like, I just want your butt. I'm like, well, we got to do a lot of other things too.
What do I have to do to get your butt?
Yeah, I get that. I get that question all the time, which I love. And the other question that I often get is really just like, how do I get fit, Leigh? Or what's a great diet plan for me? Or what should I do? I just get these very generic, what should I do? And I can sense, based on my own, I remember being at the beginning of my fitness career, it's really desperation. People are desperate for results. They want them quickly. They want them now. And just like anything, as I said, there's nothing instant gratification in this world. If it does come, it will also go away as quickly. It burns out quick. So it takes time, but it doesn't take that long. That's the great thing, is that you can do it, but it is one foot in front of the other, one step at a time, really building up the muscle fibers. You want to make sure that you do it right so that you're not prone to injury. So not every person is the same. There is not a diet plan that, okay, I'm going to give you this many calories a day and I can just send that out to everybody. Everyone works and operates differently. So I wish I could just give everyone the same, here's what you need to eat every day and here's what you need to do in the gym and you're going to look just like you want. Yeah. But everyone is different.
So have you worked with clients in the past, like doing personal training? Or
I have worked with people in the past, and what I was, telling you that is important to me is, now I've really changed from working one-on-one with a lot of clients. I really got into working with others besides myself because of my own personal family. My mom and a lot of my family members have obesity, and my mom's starting a fitness regimen actually because of me, which is awesome. She's starting this week, but that's why I started to train others, and now I've distanced a little bit from training others more into videos and my products in general. So you'll be able to watch me work out, learn machines like I was talking about. One of the things I'm going to do is start taking you into the gym with me, the audience into the gym with me, so they can kind of view how I use a machine, so that they're not intimidated. Yeah. I want to help people get over those fears like I had to get over those fears.
You have a YouTube channel, right?
I do. I have a YouTube channel, and I have a bodyweight exercise video on it right now.
What's it called?
44 bodyweight exercises for women, and it's actually for everybody, so anyone can do these exercises, but the contest that I had entered with that video was for women specifically. Yeah. And
I watched it and I thought, dear God, how will I ever be able to do this?
Some of the exercises I actually think, you know what, don't do that one. But I did them for the video because I wanted to win. But there are a lot in there that, you know what, it's amazing. You can do them. Yeah. You can do them. We're going to get you up to speed, and you're going to do some of those. But some of them are quite challenging. It's definitely an advanced video. So yeah.
What's your YouTube channel name?
It's under Leigh Lowery. So you can just go under Leigh Lowery or General Leigh, and you will find me on YouTube.
Okay, good. And so in the future, you're talked about, you're going to do some videos, some fitness videos.
So right now, I have a friend of mine who's in production, and he wants to do a series with me. So I'll be doing a series on how to use 10-pound weights. I have a lot of friends, and because of my age, I'm 37 years old. I have a lot of friends who are married with, 2 kids at home. They can't make it to the gym. So I really want to help them, get a set of 10-pound weights in the house, maybe get a kettlebell that's 20 pounds, and work with them on how to do that, along with bodyweight exercises incorporated, so you're getting that cardiovascular in there as well. So I'll be doing a video series on how to use 10-pound weights in your house for women with kids who want to, can't make it to the gym. And then I'll also be taking people inside the gym and working through different machines. So whole routine on legs, whole routine on that big booty that we were talking about. And, I always say the gun show, getting those biceps pumping.
What about 2-minute abs?
2-minute abs. It's so funny. I don't even work my abs. I rarely work my abs because you get abs when you are doing all the other stuff. So I rarely even do ab exercises. Abs are made in the kitchen. That is the truth. It is totally the truth. What you're eating is a direct reflection of what your stomach looks like. So if you can't see your abs, that's typically because, you're eating, it's your food, it's your diet.
Wheat belly.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, we all put a little bit of a holiday layer on, even myself. So.
Oh yeah, me too. I definitely did. I put a layer on top of a layer.
I like to add a little bit of love for the winter.
So how do you want to help others in fitness? What are your aspirations?
My goal from the beginning of really starting, like we talked about, my Fit Food blog on Facebook and the videos that I've been doing, is to help people become less intimidated. I also have a pretty big fan base of women who are over 30 that have felt like, I always say it's like getting a second wind. I am more fit now than I was in my 20s. I really did not believe that was possible. And I want women to know, whether you have children, a full-time job, you're home, you just can't get off the couch, that you can. And that all of this is possible, and that you can find that better self within yourself, and we're going to bring it out. So to me, and to men too, it's not just to women, but from a personal standpoint, I have so many women who really link to me because of the fact that I overcame alcoholism, and I was overweight, and I hadn't worked out in 10 years. And so there is a real direct relation to that vulnerability, and knowing that I overcame it, and so can you. So,
yeah, I really identify with what you said, how, you were really in shape in high school, like many of us were, and just did a ton of activity. And then you still think that you're in shape. And then one day you wake up and you're 30 and you're like, what the hell? What happened? Your hormones are out of whack. Or they're starting to go downhill after 30, 35.
That's right.
You have a kid, for many women. And then you're like, okay, well, how do I get back there? Can I ever get back to my high school figure?
It seems so unachievable. And I know my family calls what I went through the khaki pant phase. It was 10 years long because I wore these big khaki pants, no pleats. They were like about 5 sizes bigger than I am now. And, big sweatshirts. And I didn't feel good. I mean, I didn't even wear makeup, I don't think. Everything about me said I don't feel good. Yeah. And everything about me now said, I'm wearing purple leg warmers. Like, I think I'm 20 years old or I'm Olivia Newton-John all of a sudden. But I feel amazing. That's what I want for anyone who's listening, is I want you to feel amazing inside and outside. So that's the goal.
Yeah, and it's really surprising how the more and more I learn about fitness, and I know quite a bit, but when you really get down to the nitty-gritty of it, you don't really have to do that much.
Nope.
You have to do short, intense bursts. And I talked to Abel James, one of the number one podcasters, a couple weeks ago, and he was talking about he doesn't really take like a whole hour to work out. Like, in my mind, I always thought, like, I'm not even going to bother if I don't go for an hour or even an hour and a half.
Right.
Like, I used to not even bother if I couldn't do that. But you really can get incredibly effective results by just working out for 5, 10, 20 minutes really intensely.
High intensity interval training, HIIT training is really popular right now. I absolutely recommend it to anyone, especially people who don't have as much time. And me personally, I spend, a lot of people think, because I'm pretty fit now and muscular, they think I spend hours or the whole day in the gym, and I spend an hour a day, 5 days a week, and that includes my cardio. I do about 2 sessions of cardio a week for 30 minutes, pretty much walking. So I'm not spending the time, and you see some people, they'll spend hours and hours on those machines, and it's really not necessary.
That's what I did when I was, after I had my baby, I was up to 200 pounds. When I was in high school, I was 122.
Yeah. So
that was like a whole nother me.
Yeah.
I'm carrying around. Just that should have gotten me into shape. But so I was like, okay, I need to start working out, and I literally worked up to the point where I was working out almost 8 hours a week.
Yep.
But just meandering along, like just doing a little bit of weights, a little bit of yoga.
Not keeping that heart rate up. A
little bit of walking, and it wasn't doing it. I had a thyroid problem too, was definitely a roadblock to weight loss. But I was just going about it all wrong with the whole hours and hours and hours. Yeah. And you don't have to do that.
Nope, you do not.
So you're doing fitness competitions.
I am.
Can you talk a little bit about that? I just sent out a newsletter probably a month ago about how you're entering in the bodybuilding.com
spokesmodel competition.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so funny. I saw I feel like the universe sometimes brings you exactly what you need for inspiration and motivation. Hopefully this podcast will be that for somebody. I'll never forget the day that T Major, he actually trains multiple forms of our military and at a base, I believe close to Afghanistan. And he had created a video called 44 Bodyweight Exercises. And I remember my trainer posted it on his site. And this guy does like backflip burpees. If you don't know what that is, like Google it or go watch this video. I watched this video. I mean, it made me like high excited. I was like on the top of my chair. I watched it 500 times at least. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't get over what this guy was doing. And I thought to myself, I took it to my trainer and I said, we're going to do this. And he was like, he started laughing because it's a backflip burpee. I mean, I can't do a cartwheel. But I was like bound and destined. I was determined this is what I was going to do. And he said, all right, if you want to do this, let's do it. Well, I started working out a little bit harder with him. It just gave me all that motivation I needed. And it's so weird. I signed up for T Major's newsletter. And just like you have a newsletter. And I'll never forget. It was 1 week until this competition ended. He had a competition for women to create the same 44 bodyweight exercise video with their own version.
Wow.
And he was going to pick a winner. And I had 1 week to create it. So I had to find a shooter, an editor. I had to come up with the exercises. I had to figure out music. And
that's a really good video, too. When I first saw it, I thought, wow, this person's really serious about
Yeah. And you know who shot that is it's my brother, my sister's boyfriend shot it. And we shot it over 2 hours in a gym straight through. I did not rest. I thought I was going to die at the end, literally. And it was crazy. And then I found an editor. I ran into this guy. He actually worked for Disney, and he said he'd edit my video for really inexpensive, and he was awesome. And it just all came about. And like I said, the universe brings you something on purpose, and it like almost released my destiny. It was like, it was meant to be. It was. And so I did it. I followed through with it. And my trainer he said, Leigh, I'm going to donate my time, but if you want to win this, you have to do it all on your own. You have to come up with the exercises. You have to get all these people. So it was a challenge. And the General Leigh loves a challenge, you know? Like I said, I'm a bossy little girl who thinks I can do anything. And so I did it. And I won it. And I couldn't get over it. I ended up with, tons of followers and fans because of it across internationally. So it's been amazing. That's been amazing. So that's how I started in the competition world. And then I won, some Instagram competitions that are about fitness. It's kind of silly, but to me it matters. And now I am up for bodybuilding.com spokesmodel. I made it to the top 20, and voting ended yesterday to be in the top 5. And by the time this podcast airs, we'll probably know if I made it to the top 5. I think they tell us on December the 23rd. So I am really excited. If that is the case, you guys can come watch me at the Fit Expo, the LA Fit Expo. I will be on stage January, I think it's like the 25th through the 27th that week. So I would be competing to be their spokesmodel.
Nice.
It would be a big deal.
I know. That would be amazing.
I know.
I know. I voted. I hope some of the listeners that get the newsletter voted.
Yeah. Regardless, you know what? I just love the support. So, and it's a huge, huge deal for me. Just it's taking that challenge. Anything that presents itself to you that you feel in your heart, I just say follow that passion. And every time I do what I feel inside my gut I'm supposed to do, something happens, Yeah.
I know what you mean. I never thought 2 years ago that I'd be having a podcast and
a book.
A book and thousands of listeners and people on my emailing list, and it's just really amazing. And I really am very grateful for all you listeners and all of the people that support me, that want to actually listen to what I have to say.
Absolutely.
Because I do have something to say, damn it.
You have something to say, and you're helping people. I think that's the key, is like you're following that passion, and you're a good spokesperson for what you do. So, and your site is beautiful. I mean, it really couldn't be any prettier. So
thank you.
I love it. You've done a
wonderful
job.
Really, I can't even tell you how much I wake up every day, and I'm so excited to take every skill that I've ever acquired and worked for, and every passion I have, and assimilate it into one thing. Yep. It's just never ceases to amaze me how I'm using every skill I've acquired to bring people this information.
You were brought to this point with all of those tools. It's just so cool. Yeah. I agree.
Yeah, so hopefully both of us can fulfill our life's purpose.
Yeah.
Through helping other people through what we love to do.
Some of which together. That's really cool.
And so what type of diet are you following when you're doing all this exercise? Like, how much do you exercise a week?
I exercise 5 days a week, an hour a day. I do 2 sessions of cardio. I do 1 HIIT training usually as well. So I'll do 2 30-minute walking under 120 beats per minute. So that's really just like walking at an incline on the treadmill at about a 3.4 pace, which is pretty light, pretty easy going. And that's just to get that cardiovascular in there. And then I'll do high intensity interval training, which is I do sprints, or, a lot of people have a hard time with sprints because of knees, but you can do it on a bike. You can do any kind of, interval training on a bike. So
you can do swimming too.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You can do. There's anything, rowing. Yeah. So there's a lot of like non-intensive things for your knees if you are having issues with that. But what I do is I'll do about 20 seconds going as hard as I can, and then take 40 seconds to relax, then 20 seconds as hard as I can, about 10 intervals. And it really gets that sweat going. It gets your heart rate up. It doesn't burn off the muscle. It's wonderful. So I suggest and recommend HIIT training. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I actually recently, the last podcast I did was with Mickey Riley, and she was talking about how they had this one study where the participants who did, they compared participants. Some did 20 minutes of HIIT training, and the other ones did 60 minutes of just walking.
Right.
And the HIIT people lost 3 times the amount of weight.
Absolutely.
And they worked out half the time.
That's
it's
exactly
insane
right.
how much more effective it is.
That's exactly right. And then I think people get intimidated because they believe you have to do like sprints, and you don't. You can find any machine, and you really can do it on any machine. You can do it, walking on the street and then running for, 20 seconds. So it's an incredible, useful tool to quickly burn fat and still build muscle at the same time.
Yeah, it's hard. I tried it one time on a treadmill.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard because you have to go up, and start doing it really fast. And if you're not that coordinated, like me, I'm like a big gigantic giraffe.
Oh yeah, I'm
really
fallen.
tall. You can almost fall on your face.
Yeah, what I do is I typically press the number in, so you can put 3.0 enter and then 8.0 enter, but it is hard. I mean, you gotta be kind of coordinated, and I have almost definitely fallen off the back end several times. So I try to stick to the bike because I know I can do it, stand up and push hard for that amount of time and not fall over.
And so what type of diet are you eating?
Right now, I am doing, I did completely clean eating for a very long period of time where I was really looking at the overall calorie count for the most part, really, really clean, meaning like sweet potatoes, very low sodium, chicken, fish. I would have red meat as well, but I was not eating, anything that had sugar in it, and I was at a very low sodium count. And I have switched over recently to something called IIFYM. And what that stands for is if it fits in your macros. And what you do in that is look at your macronutrition. So you're drilling it down all the way. Besides your calories, you're looking at your fats and your proteins and your carbohydrates and your fiber intake.
So are you logging all of that?
Absolutely. I use a tool called... It's an app on your phone. It's really easy. It's called MyFitnessPal.
Yeah.
I log my food in it, and what's cool about MyFitnessPal is that you can not only log your food into the diary, but you can look at your nutrition. So you can see I have exact numbers given to me by the person that I work with on my diet of where I'm supposed to be, especially as I go into competitions. My macronutrition will change. But I'll eat exact amount. He gives me an exact amount of protein. So I eat like 125 to 130 grams of protein right now. My carbs are really high, which I love because I love carbs. Who doesn't? They're at 191 grams right now. And my fats are at 42 to 45 grams. And that's keeping me lean. I'm at about 16% body fat right now. But it's not keeping me completely shredded, so it keeps me healthy. It makes me feel good. I'm at a good place for women. Women are usually between like 18 and 22% body fat. I'm a little bit lower because I am in fitness, but it's wonderful. I absolutely love it. And really what's great about it is that I have vegans and vegetarians and paleos and all sorts of people, and they can fit their nutrition plan within this. So it doesn't pigeonhole you. It's just really a very good inventory of looking deeply into what you're eating.
Isn't that the eating style that a lot of bodybuilders do? That's big.
There's 2 eating styles. There's old school, which is going to be like, especially for competition, it's like everyone's eating asparagus and chicken and egg whites. And you'll hear that often. And I did that for a long time, and I still incorporate some of those things in my diet. Asparagus is amazing. It's got great folic acid. It's wonderful for several things. So I eat all of those things.
It's wonderful for gas also.
Yeah, it's great. It debloats. It's amazing. And I still eat all of those things, but what I found was I had issues remaining consistent without having binging episodes on the weekend, or when I got around Christmas, I would end up like eating the whole turkey and there was nothing for anyone else to eat. I didn't know what to do. So now it gives me the opportunity I can fit anything in my diet. And I told you this, and I don't know if this is good for your listeners, but I ate a Pop-Tart this morning. I typically don't eat horribly, cornstarchy bad foods for myself, but occasionally I will have something that makes me feel like I'm okay. I got this. It's okay to have to make mistakes or have a little something bad, a cheat. As long as, 85 to 90% of my diet is absolutely on track. My fiber is at between 25 and 32 grams a day. Yeah. So in order to do that, you have to have some of those really healthy foods.
Yeah, we're all human beings. It's definitely, I definitely proponent and tell all my clients to do the 90-10 rule or 80-20.
Yeah.
Whatever your little flexibility is, because you can't eat perfect all the time.
Can't eat perfect all the time. And, for me, the cool thing is I don't gain weight or get out of, way out of whack because I'll have something that feels like a cheat. But I have a small amount, and I have almost a small amount every day, whether it be a Skinny Cow or a Pop-Tart or something that's got that sugar in it that makes me feel like I got a treat. Yeah. But then, like you said, 90-10, 80-20, whatever your rule of thumb is, I really try to stick to that clean, good, healthy eating because overall you need the nutrients for your body and really to help your body work properly. That's
and I think
important.
you need also like a psychological buffer too. Like you need something to feel like you're being naughty or you're not having to work all the time. Work. Perfect diet. Sometimes you need a little bit of treat to reward you.
Absolutely.
And those people I think can stay more consistently on a healthy diet.
That's right. That's right.
So I have a question I like to ask all my guests. What do you think is the most pressing health issue in the world today?
Man, we were talking about this, and it's like chronic disease is you're seeing just such high levels of chronic disease. And I think for me, I'll just talk about what I'm touched with closest to home, and that's obesity. Several of my family members, I'm a Texan. We like to eat in Texas. That's what we do.
Oh, yeah. Houston won the award for the fattest city in the U.S.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm related to all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But it's true, and that's okay. It's very tough when there is that much food. We've grown the size of our plates and the amounts of food that we're eating. So it's very hard to say no when what you're given is a plate of food. Mm-hmm.
Especially some gumbo at a Cajun place in Houston.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Mexican food. It's so funny. I was telling somebody the other day, sushi to California is Mexican food to Texas. I mean, we eat that 3 to 4 days a week.
Tex-Mex.
So, yeah, good stuff. And I think all that's great, but it's very sad, and that's just, close to home. But it's taken over, and, you obviously see a lot of that with the children today. People are less active than they used to be, video games and all the things taking over. So getting active is really important. What you're eating is really important, and it has long-term effects, diabetes and all the chronic disease that comes along with obesity is a scary, sad thing. And we don't want to lose our friends and family. I don't want to lose my friends and family. And so my whole family's kind of on a thing right now where they're working towards, they changed their potatoes from big white potatoes to sweet potatoes. And, it's been cool.
Are you whipping them into shape?
Yeah. My mom won't let me whip her into shape. She's too scared of me. But she lets me change her food. So when I come home for Christmas or Thanksgiving, she's always, making some turkey chili instead of beef chili. So I'm proud of them. It's little steps, and I'm watching her make big changes just based on each little step she takes forward. So
I think that's what it's all about, is just small incremental changes.
That's right.
Small little steps. That's kind of a Japanese philosophy. It's I think it's called Kaizen, or I forget the exact name, but it just small, tiny steps lead to giant changes.
Yep. I always say there's a culprit in everyone's diet, whether it be that you pour your ranch dressing on your salad, you have no idea that you just put 42 grams of fat because you poured rather than measured. Everyone's got culprits in their diet, and we can find those little things. I worked with a girl just recently, and she lost 30 pounds over the past 8 months, and she looks amazing, but she had to change those little things, changed her full peanut butter to natural peanut butter, and it's just been really cool to watch. It's amazing to watch people change.
Yeah, all those little tiny things, they add up. They add up to huge results, and that's one thing I have to remind myself is when I I cheat or I eat, full fat cheese, or, I only eat full fat cheese, but if I eat too much of it,
right,
that extra 100 or 200 calories a day,
it's crazy,
makes or breaks.
I use that tablespoon. Yeah. I say use that tablespoon. With syrup, with peanut butter, with anything, I use my tablespoon with my creamer in my coffee. Every single thing I do, I use a scale, I use a measuring cup, and I use a tablespoon so that I know that I'm hitting those portions and I'm not going out. You know?
Yeah.
It's pretty easy.
Well, Leigh, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You're going to be on the show from now on.
Yeah. Thanks for being here this time.
So thanks for coming on for the first time.
Yeah.
And I'm really looking forward to us, having some fun on the podcast and, entertaining the listeners, not just, yammering about nutrition or fitness, but making it really, really fun for everybody.
Totally.
And so where can people find you?
Well, I have a Fit Food page right now. So you talked about earlier, I've got the General Leigh, and it's, like you said, LEIGH.com, as well as Fit Foods. Follow My Fit Foods is my Facebook name. So you can actually put into Facebook, Follow My Fit Foods, and find my page there. And
you're on Instagram?
I'm on Instagram under Gen Leigh, GenLeigh. And I will be on this show, so you'll be able to find me here too.
Well, thank you so much, Leigh. And, I'm so excited to, have your contribution regarding fitness on the podcast, and hopefully maybe have some guest blogs on Live to 110.
Absolutely.
I'm the nutrition guru, but I need a fitness guru as my right-hand man. So you're just the one for the job.
And I'd love to hear back from what you guys want to hear out there. If there's something specific, like if you want to know how to get that big round booty, you tell me, and I'll do a whole segment on it so we can get you there.
Yeah, go on, follow My Fit Foods on Facebook, and post some questions for General Leigh.
Yeah.
And about anything that you want to know regarding fitness, and we'll try to address it on the podcast.
Awesome.
And if you want to learn more about the paleo diet, weight loss, or how to do a serious detox, not a BS detox in a box, you can find me on live to110.com. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter at I Will Live to 110. And I'm also on YouTube at Wendy Live to 110. Sorry, I'm not allowed to change the name. I didn't know that when I signed up for it, that I was stuck with that name forever. So I'm always crying, debating whether I should change it. But anyways, that's where you'll find me for right now. So if you like what you heard on the show, please give the Live to 110 podcast a review in iTunes. I would appreciate it so much. Thank you, listeners, for tuning in. And remember, you must actually get your butt moving if you want to lose weight and get healthy. Mm-hmm. So put down your iPhone, walk away from the computer, and go exercise. Do anything. Do some sit-ups, some walking, whatever, some burpees, even if it's for 5 minutes. You've got to start somewhere. Don't wait until tomorrow. Do it now. Thank you so much for listening to the Live to 110 podcast.